A sweeping walkout unfolded as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the United Nations General Assembly Friday. Over 50 countries' delegations left the hall before his remarks began, citing disapproval of his planned address. Many observers said the gesture underscored Israel's diplomatic isolation over its military campaign in Gaza. In his speech, Netanyahu vowed to finish the job in Gaza and dismissed recent recognitions of a Palestinian state as insane. He also broadcast portions of the address to Gaza using loudspeakers. The mostly empty chamber underscored the scale of the protest and reflected widening global pressure amid spiraling humanitarian concerns. Tensions over the Gaza war escalated sharply at the United Nations this week. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu delivered a defiant speech to the General Assembly, insisting that Israel will continue its campaign in Gaza until Hamas is destroyed. His remarks sparked walkouts from dozens of delegations, underscoring Israel's growing isolation on the global stage. In an unusual move, Israel also broadcast Netanyahu's speech into Gaza by loudspeakers, part of a psychological strategy aimed at both Hamas and civilians under siege. Meanwhile, a UN commission issued a report concluding that Israel's actions in Gaza amount to genocide, a charge Israel firmly rejects. Adding to the pressure, several Western nations have formally recognized a Palestinian state, a shift that breaks with long-standing U.S. policy. The United States, while continuing to back Israel, warned that such recognition could embolden Hamas and fuel further violence. On the ground, Israel intensified its offensive in Gaza City, striking more than 170 targets in one round of attacks, while also hitting a site in Lebanon linked to missile production. Federal prosecutors have charged a 28-year-old Somali-American woman in Minnesota with running a $14 million fraud scheme targeting the state's autism services program. Investigators say she created a company that billed Medicaid for autism therapy sessions that were never provided, often recruiting children who did not have autism. Parents were allegedly paid kickbacks, sometimes over $1,000 a month, to keep their children enrolled. Authorities also accuse her of defrauding a federal food assistance program by submitting false invoices, claiming nearly $500,000. Court documents show she moved large sums overseas and invested in real estate abroad with proceeds from the scheme. She has indicated plans to plead guilty, while federal officials continue to investigate additional providers tied to widespread fraud in autism and nutrition programs across Minnesota. A growing body of surveys shows that financial stress is weighing heavily on Gen Z. Around 7 in 10 young adults say money worries keep them up at night, with many reporting that financial pressure is their single biggest source of anxiety. Concerns range from affording rent and paying off student loans to keeping up with rising everyday costs. Broader research also finds that about half of Gen Z feels extremely or very worried about not having enough money, suggesting that financial insecurity is a consistent theme across this age group. Experts point to high housing costs, slower wage growth, and debt burdens as major drivers of this anxiety. While these challenges aren't unique to Gen Z, the data suggests they are feeling them earlier in adulthood and more intensely than older generations. A wave of apocalyptic predictions has gone viral on social media, with videos under the hashtag #RaptureTalk drawing huge attention. The trend stems from a South African pastor who claims to have received a vision that the biblical rapture would occur around September 23rd and 24th. Interest has surged online, with millions of views on TikTok and a spike in searches about the end of the world. Some followers have taken the prediction seriously, quitting jobs or selling belongings to prepare. Others have responded with humor or skepticism, pointing out that past doomsday forecasts, such as those in 2011, never came true. Religious scholars also note that Scripture warns against setting exact dates, emphasizing that no one can know the precise timing of such events. Like and subscribe for more updates.